Broadcast it live. That's goody.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. So
Hello.
we're doing a Facebook Spaces live right now at OneBonsai. It's something that we wanted to do for a while, so to bring our meetings in virtual reality in order to share our ideas and everything that we do with you. And so today we have Evares Hoofs available with us.
Hello.
And we have Juan Bossicard, our proud guest for today.
Thank you.
Many thanks for coming, Juan. We really appreciate it.
I had to come far and wide, but I'm here.
Indeed, yeah. Yeah, Juan says this because he happens to be in the office next door. So for him, he could come with his pantoffles on. So today we're going to talk about virtual reality for consumers versus virtual reality for industries. We see it happening in a very different way. And so maybe Juan, you can open up by telling us a bit the difference that you see in between these two worlds.
Well, it's funny because when virtual reality was introduced, it was a consumer play. So if you think about the early days of Oculus, when Palmer Luckey and the team of Oculus came out, the people that they energized initially were all the gamers and the Kickstarter community that believed in their project, thinking that, oh my God, it's going to revolutionize gaming. So naturally, at the early days of this new wave of VR, people thought that it's going to be a consumer play. And while in reality, it's a different story that's currently happening, that the rate of adoptions at the enterprise level is much faster than the rate of adoptions at consumer level. And so a lot of the hypotheses that were made about form factor, about device, about input and those things are slowly evolving. And you have a company like HP that realize it and start making headsets available for the enterprise sector. So it's interesting to see that this upside down dynamic of enterprise first and then consumer in the mass market adoption.
Indeed. Is this something unique to VR, or has this been seen in other markets and businesses?
Well, my experience, when I was working at Microsoft, there was something that was quite powerful at the time. It was called bring your own device. Yeah. So people had bought tablets, they bought smartphone, and those were not available at the company level. Yet a lot of companies were acknowledging to say, okay, we cannot stop those people from bringing their smartphone and tablet. So it's okay, it's tolerated for you to bring those devices to the company. And then there was a tipping point where suddenly companies were starting to offering tablets and smartphone to their employees, and then it became an enterprise play. People thought the same thing was going to happen with VR, that people were going to buy VR home, then decide to bring at the office, and then suddenly companies would be like, okay, now we may as well offer VR to the employees. But it's just not happening.
That's super interesting, Juan. Evares, maybe you have a question?
Yeah, so, and how do you see that now happening? So it's going to go faster than in enterprises, or is this something that is going to take still years to grow? Is this already actively used? How do you see that? I think
I share your enthusiasm and a lot of people enthusiastic in the industry. There's something like the Oculus Quest, which is sort of a middle ground device between the high-end and the low-end, something that offers all the quality of the high-end devices, which is 6 degrees of freedom, at a price similar to the low-end, where the device itself comes with a huge catalogus of games available at launch. I think that device is really going to be a breakthrough device for a lot of consumers that suddenly are going to look at this and say, wow, this is like the Nintendo Wii. It's plug and play. You buy it, you set up, and then boom, you have this huge catalog of games. You can share it with others by connecting a smartphone directly to the device, so your friends and family can see what you see in VR. There's a lot of possibility of interaction. So I put a lot of faith in this upcoming device, which should be, I think, a hit at consumer level because ease of use, the right price, and a huge catalogus of games at launch.
And so the chicken and the egg problem is kind of getting less an issue. because at the moment it's really that's basically the issue, I guess.
Exactly.
And in terms of quality of experiences, is that something that is growing also?
Well, immersion is more than just quality of traffic. Immersion is, high refresh rates. It's about tricking the brain to say you disconnected from one reality and you enter another one. And there's a threshold that you need to reach. And it's not in all the details of the image. I mean, it's something else. It's something that happens in the brain where it's realistic enough, the refresh rate is good enough, that there's comfort for the person, that the depth of view is good enough, that the colorimetry is respected, and that's where the magic happens in the brain. So I think those devices will be powerful enough to trick the brain into putting people into a different reality. Sure, I mean, the version 2 and the version 3 is going to keep on improving in the quality of graphics, but I would say this is good enough. And they've been using a lot of trickery into artificially improving the quality of the graphic to a device that's basically a smartphone. I mean, it uses a Snapdragon 835, I believe, which is the same thing as in the Samsung latest phone. So it's not hyper powerful, but it's capable of giving decent graphics.
Yeah. And what we're doing now, actually, at the moment, at Facebook Space Conference, that's something that is supported on these super mobile devices.
Exactly. So whatever we do now, we no longer need those very expensive computers we are using right now. We can have a much simpler devices.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So you're saying that as soon as virtual reality devices are going to be easy to use and cheap and portable, then it's going to become kind of a flood throughout the consumer market.
Well, there's a big argument to say it has to be social. It has to be something that you can share on social networks, something where you can bring your friends on, you can create a buzz around you. And so the work that Facebook has been doing with Spaces, but with a lot of their social feature, is going to finally come as a way for people to bring their friends on and bring their social network and make people be part of the game, be part of something like this, where we can share with others, even though you're physically separated.
Yeah. So
it needs to become natural. Huh? It needs to become natural, and that's indeed what this will hopefully help.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you put the headset on, and boom, you're in VR. There's no starting the computer, starting the application, going through calibration, downloading the game. No, everything is going to be automated. It's going to be a plug and play. And I think plug and play for VR it's something that nobody has known until now of a high-end plug and play experience. So this is energizing. I mean, I was trying your HTC device yesterday, and this is not it. I mean, the controller is wrong. The operating system doesn't work. I mean, it was a cool idea. It was the first standalone 6 Degrees of Freedom headset.
Yeah.
But as long as the controller itself is not 6 Degrees of Freedom, then it's sort of pointless. Like you only have. Yeah.
Indeed. And so what are the big uses in the industry now of VR?
Well, education definitely is like number one up there in the list.
Yeah.
How do you educate people at scale with standardized training where you can measure efficiency, and you can make sure that people have gone through the same training, follow the same instructions.
Yeah, indeed.
Has been the number one use case that we have seen, and he's currently showing here a great example of a use case, the virtual reality classroom.
Yeah. That's a classroom that we have done a while ago. So this is a picture of. Actually, this is, I believe, Everest, and this is Zubir from Livescope. So we participated to the virtual classroom at his own arcade at Livescope.
And it was a lot of location bays were connected together in the same environment. I remember that.
Yeah.
You can see it here. So you're sitting with a lot of people in space with a teacher in front of you, and and basically you can manipulate everything that you see around you. So that's really cool. It's a really cool way to explain very complex things.
Yeah. So what are the advantages of VR over traditional academic classes then when we see that example?
Well, I was thinking about it because I've considered many times doing an MBA. And obviously, I would be attracted to do an MBA somewhere in North America because, you know, they're considered to be the best. And then when you look at tuition fee of attending, I don't know, a class at Stanford, you sort of wonder, okay, what justifies the price if only the building in which you are wants you listen to the teacher?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You could totally follow the same class live in distance without having to physically be present there and have the same quality of interactions, the same activity.
Yeah.
And then the one thing that makes the difference is, you know, when you were the socializing with other students, obviously if you're not physically there, you cannot socialize. And imagine working in groups on similar projects. But with tools like this one, you can not only just follow the class, but also, you know, collaborate and meet people on work groups and then, you know, type together your assignments and then work on projects. So
indeed, yeah.
I really wonder, you know, when the first major, you know, American university or any university ranked in the top is going to start offering the sort of virtual MBAs where for a fraction of the price, then you can attend the same classes because everything is broadcast and everything is done.
Yeah,
and it becomes much better every time, because we see now, okay, it's sometimes a bit clunky with your hands, like now, but you see already you can point to things, you can move. Quite natural. You see your eyes blink, you see your lips move. So that makes all the difference and becomes much better every day with eye tracking. And so these technologies will evolve, and after a while you will just be there. I mean,
of course,
that's really
Of course, and I think what a lot of companies are, what a lot of university wants to ensure is that the students are actually there in class. They're following the classroom.
Yeah.
And with eye tracking and eye recognition, then you can certify that, hey, the guy behind the headset is actually the students that enroll in the class.
Indeed.
And so that natural problem that has been in the past about, you know, distant learning is always this fear to say, okay, how can we ensure that it's actually the students that is passing the test, or the students that is following the classroom. With those type of recognition or biometric, if you want to embed it, then suddenly, you know, you can ensure that, hey, I'm really behind the thing. I'm really following the class. It's me.
Yeah. And it feels super natural. Like now myself, it's the first time I spend so much time in a social VR experience. And I actually feel alright about it, like the interactions with the avatars and the interactions with like my own hands and stuff. Like it's really just kind of second nature already, and that's like our first.
Like the prolongation of your body.
Yeah, it's really natural actually when you see yourself, when you see the others, and I actually recognize your body language. Well, like I know, okay, that's kind of visual. Yeah, like in the way you talk, like you have kind of the Italian way to talk a bit.
Thank you.
Indeed, yeah.
Thank you. I feel that.
So that's cool.
I feel privileged.
Yeah.
Good.
Before the live, he was like making sure that his avatar wasn't like too thick, so he would like be kind of making it look good.
I was working on my appearance. You know, I could have gone for something much close to reality, and I've decided not to. So.
Indeed, yeah. What we will experiment with for the next podcast is that we will do it with maybe a different social VR system. Like maybe we can try it with VR chat, or maybe one of OneBonsai's direct solutions, and just to see like kind of the different social VRs that actually exist. Like, would you guys be up for this?
You mean like VR chat and other platforms?
Yeah,
is that what you're proposing?
Yeah, like at OneBonsai, we actually built kind of a virtual reality experience that could be used like for this for social VR. So the intent is not like to do Facebook Spaces. The intent is to is more for B2B applications where you can put multiple people from the same company in the same environment, which we can already do here. Like if we want to go, for example, somewhere else, like we want to go inside of a human body, we actually can do it. like by spawning it in, to just basically move there and like work from there. But there are still some limitations, we can't really interact with what is this? It's actually DNA samples. So these are like for now an image, we can't interact with it. So with what we're busy building on, we could actually be able to interact with it, play with it, and do whatever.
Live in the environment,
Live
like
in the
interact with objects. Okay, that's
Indeed,
a
yeah.
good point.
Indeed, yeah.
That's cool. I don't know. I think that makes a lot of sense because, you know, education is about, you know, knowledge sharing, right? There's somebody has knowledge in his head and he's trying to put that knowledge into the head of someone else.
Yeah.
And so sharing is a similar environment and be in tune with the knowledge and the vibes that the person is sending, sharing this knowledge. I think a location like this where you control, you know, every environment. You control the light, you control the noise, you control what's displayed. I think that's very powerful for a teacher to define the learning experience that students are going to have.
Yeah. Because we always say that for teaching, you have to have that feeling of presence and the contact with your teacher to actually get the transfer of knowledge from one brain to the other actually happening.
Yeah. No, that's makes total sense.
That's really cool, you guys.
So you talked about you know the industry in which you know VR has had a strong uptake. So we talked about the training. That's the one side, but it's not just training about knowledge transfer. Is training on the job. So being able to sort of be faced with the training the work environment in which you're gonna be. And be able to learn and make mistakes, developing those skills. So when you need to learn about using expensive equipment, when you need to learn to work in dangerous environments, when you need to you know develop real hard skills, then this sort of a virtual environment is ideal. Is an ideal way to do it because you know you guys have worked on a crane simulator, right?
Yeah,
we did. Yeah.
So can you
tell us a bit more? Oh yeah, can you tell us a bit more? You know how useful and why you spend time and energy on the crane simulator?
Yeah, so basically, if you think about it in virtual reality, you can make mistakes. So you can just do whatever you like, but also you can go through procedures. You can make sure that you understand what you're doing. And on top of that, you can really simulate things that you can't do in reality. Yeah, you cannot simulate a container crashing down. I mean, you can simulate, but you cannot do it in reality. So the first time that these guys meet an emergency, they will actually be at the spot. While here, they can actually do it 10 times, 20 times, and learn how to cope with these kind of emergencies. And that's really, really powerful. So that's something that's impossible with any other technology. You have some screen-based things, but you don't have the immersion that you have then in virtual reality. That makes really, really a big difference.
Yeah. So another area I think where we see a lot of adaptations of VR is in in sales and e-commerce. I like to use the example that Audi now is using for their car configurator. There's a lot of real estate companies that are also using you know, VR to allow the final customer to realize what he's about to buy, to customize it to his own needs. Yeah. And because those are, you know, expensive purchase where margins are rather large, those are companies that can afford to make sizable investment in infrastructure, in content development, because improving the relationship and the sales relationship with the end customer is key to, you know, the sales process. And so, you know, just to tell a bit about the car simulator of Audi is you go online, you configure your car, and then you receive a code, a QR code. And once you go to the concession with the QR code, you can put a VR headset and see the car that you have configured online. And then the sales rep has a tablet and he can have a live conversation with you, the customer, about changing and upgrading certain elements about the car. So you'll visualize the car you're about to buy 3 or 4 months before you actually receive the car after your order. And that's quite a powerful tool for the sales process because people buy with much more confidence that they're going to have the exact car that they want.
We summarize it kind of for our clients. We summarize it in 3 words: it's big, expensive, or dangerous. So then it's kind of useful to look at virtual reality, augmented reality, these immersive technologies, to see if that helps your sales process, your risk management, or whatever you are doing basically in the process. And that's in this case is really a good example of Audi that wants to improve the sales process, make it faster, make it more interesting for the client, and that works with the expensive part. And
Yeah, definitely.
Really cool. You guys, it's 12:30, so let's call it a day for this live. Many thanks for the ones who actually joined us.
Oh, wait.
Huh?
2 seconds.
Vares wants
Can
to
make a
take the
selfie.
thing. And we see actually that Mohamed is watching us. Mohamed from VR Lab. Big shout out to you, guy.
Hello.
Hey Mohamed,
Hey, Mohamed.
on t'aime, on t'aime. Et c'est qui le deuxième? Oh non, il y en a un, nous et puis Mohamed, quoi.
The second one, I don't know. There's a little glitch. I can't see his face. But hello, second one.
Voilà.
So
Hey Mohamed,
Guys, hey.
Mohamed, on t'aime.
nice.
Voilà.
So let's
I'm
go.
gonna
Let's go
make
for a
picture.
memory selfie. Yeah.
Voilà.
Hello
So,
for
I hope
our.
that this works.
Perfect.
It is.
Voilà, there it is.
So voilà,
Tada.
Et on entend Mohamed. Écoutez, on entend Mohamed.
Mohamed.
Hi Stéphane. Hi Stéphane.
Ah, Stéphane, hey.
Quelqu'un m'a touché.
What? Actually, in real life,
Si. Ah ouais, j'arrive. On a fini.
Indeed. Hello, Stefan. Nice to see you. It's been a long time, Stefan, actually, that I didn't talk to you. It's really
Oh,
nice.
there's 3 people. There's one more, no? Oh, it's Stéphane just joined.
Yeah. Like, Stefan, we should invite you over, actually, on one of our VR casts now. It's something that we want to do a little bit more, like, basically on a weekly basis, we can do a live like this every Friday noon, something like this. Many thanks.
That's
many
a
thanks.
cool idea.
Yeah.
Cool idea, guys.
That's so many thanks for following. Well, I guess see you next week. Bye bye,
See
you
you next
guys.
week.
Many thanks, Juan, for
Bye.
your help. Yeah.
Bye.
Cheers.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
OneBonsai.